Hello guys, this is Big Fish, and on this video I'm actually going to be talking about things that are a lot more in-depth about every class that I currently know about. I'll be skipping the Titan and these Tamer classes because I don't think that I have enough mastery or like knowledge over those two classes, those four classes to be exact: the Lupa, Spirit Walker, Destroyer, and Titan. I'm not a very knowledgeable person about those four classes, so I'll be skipping them for now. But for other classes, I will be including them here. If I miss any, please do let me know. Okay. Alright, so here we are now. We are currently in the page that I made specifically for the stats of every class, including everything you need to know about a class. And this is pretty much how I learned how to counter classes, and based on these scores I look for weaknesses in a class that I could particularly abuse in order to beat them. Alright? Back again, all of this is just theory, so it all comes back to your mechanics as well, on how you perform using your own specific class, and how good you are at using your own class, and how much of your class's advantage and that you can abuse. Right? So of course, some classes have strengths and weaknesses. Every class has strengths and weaknesses, probably except for the Fletcher. The Fletcher is the single most perfect class ever designed, and so I'll be skipping that because the Fletcher and Archer class is a bit yeah, I guess you guys know about those already, so we'll be skipping that one. We'll be skipping the Archer and Fletcher for now. Alright, so all of this is based on my own opinions and tests, so I made sure to test them all already, and yeah, and these are the results that I found out. Yeah, so I make sure to count the size of the arena to be a basis of a couple of things I want to say here. The size of an arena is approximately 3 times the Fletcher's evasion. It's almost accurate, alright? So we'll be using that as a basis to assume the results on some of the stuff I have below. The scores will be given relative 1 to 5, alright? And these are relative to other classes, not based on how the class performed by itself. Because there are so many classes, and in order to make a very unbiased perspective, we have to compare them with their own counterparts. Right? So this is how it goes. We will talk about the Primrose for the very first time, because this is the class that I know the best, okay? I am probably one of the only Primrose player who has played this class the longest, and probably one of the only ones who actually spam the arenas like crazy. I'm pretty sure many of you have already seen me in arenas at some point, so yeah. Without further ado, I'll be talking about the Primrose first. The Primrose has 1/5 immunity, because its immunity goes as in invincibility, super armor, and forward guard count / duration. Primrose has 1/5 because it's probably the worst. The super armor of the Primrose is probably the worst comparing to any other class in the game. Alright? Range is talking about how far a skill can actually reach someone without you getting closer. And it's 2.5/5, because honestly speaking, the only range type of this Primrose is just the Glacial Burst. I mean the Glacial Wall. And this class, this skill's range is, yeah, well, pretty much the same as most other nukes. A Primrose is a DOT / burst type melee class. So DOT meaning damage over time, kind of like Titan or some other classes, that needs a long combo to deal maximum damage. While burst type are actually okay, so first I need to explain to you a little bit about what are damage. And there's 2 kinds of damage, right? There are 2 kinds of damage. Okay? One is called DOT, which means that this thing is the cooldown is relatively long. and it doesn't deal a lot of damage in one strike. Okay, this is DOT, or damage over time. Okay, and now we'll be talking about the second damage type. Okay, the second damage type is called burst. Okay, second damage type is called burst. Now, what is burst type? Burst type is pretty much like the Phantasma, Ravens, who has a lot of spammable skills with relatively low CD and deals high percentage damage. Okay, so burst type skills are basically skills that are burst type is okay. So every class tend to lead more towards DOT or burst. There's no such thing as a class that is like just one. But these damage types, every class got both. Okay, every class got both, but they tend to lead towards one, either DOT or burst. Burst type skills deal a lot of damage, and it's spammable. Kind of like the Phantasma's Pink Swords, the Ravens, like Dark Bomb or whatever it's called, like the Slam Dunk stuff, yeah? Those are called burst. Meteor from the Archmage is a burst type skill because it deals a lot of damage in one go, okay? So, yes, and the difference between a DOT and a burst type is a burst type class does not necessarily need to do a combo to deal a lot of damage, okay? But if they don't do a combo, their damage is a lot more forgivable. Whilst a DOT type will deal very little damage if the combo did not succeed. A DOT is more combo focused, such as the Kunoichi, the Phantasma. These classes need to actually land a combo to actually deal the most damage. Whilst Phantasmas, Archmages, Ravens, they don't really need to combo you and you can still deal quite a good amount of damage. This is the reason why I don't play range classes, because range classes have too many advantage, okay? And I don't see a use of me talking about that and helping them get even stronger, because to be completely honest with you, they are strong even without my help. And so I will not be helping range classes. I am making specifically just melee class guides and mechanics. Now let's go back to the Primrose, okay? How does the Primrose go? Immunity, SA, forward guard, count / duration, 1/5, range 2.5. 2.5 basically means relative or average, okay? 2.5 is average. Range is how far a skill can actually land based on the range of the skill, okay? Now, reach. Reach is basically how far you can actually go to your opponent, okay? And like, what is the reach of what distance makes you a threat to other people, okay? And Primrose got 4/5 because Cold Snap has a very far range, and it's basically you going like into them. So it's basically like a range type skill, but you're actually going into them. It's a charge type skill. Damage output is basically how much damage a combo can deal. And this is back again. I measured this using the Smithies part, and I test them out myself as well. And these numbers seem to be quite accurate for now. Okay. the maximum damage output of the Primrose is very, very significant. And this is tested by with me doing the combo breakers combo, which is like the highest damage combo possible for the Primrose class, which I designed and crafted. Alright, so I'm quite confident with these for now. Mobility is how much distance or how much movement a skill kit of a particular class can do. So if you have a lot of mobility skills, then your mobility is going to be good, because you don't need to spend your evasion to actually move long distances. Okay? What is speed? Speed is how fast your class is able to move before the enemy reacts. So, so a lot of people are confused when I say like mobility, speed, and reach. People think the Berserker is a fast class. No, it's not, alright? It's not fast, okay? What about the Paladin? Well, people say the Paladin is really fast. No, it's not. Why? Because you can see it. When she's using a Radiant Charge, you can see it, okay? If you can still see it, then it's not fast, okay? I hope that's easy to understand, and you guys can agree with me on that one. Grabs, as in grabs, of course. Stealth, as in anti-grab. Delay is actually a very important thing to talk about. What is delay? Delay is basically how fast you're able to change commands and how fast a skill can be cancelled, and then you can change something. You can actually, a class with a high delay have a very, with a high delay score, which means the delay is very low or almost instant. Classes that have a very high score for delay means that this class has a very high outplay potential. Okay? And like good scores on delays also mean most of the skills can be half-casted, which makes it even more valuable. Makes the class even better at outplaying people. And usually classes with high delay are very high skilled. It's a very high skill required. Because, listen, okay? Classes with good delay usually got very horrible kits. So, I think the game actually designed them exactly that way, so you can balance it out. They give it a lot of outplay potential, but they make the skill kit bad. That is why the Primrose is a bad class. Alright, so the unique skills are class exclusive skills or insights that kind of is the only class that has it, okay? And so for the Primrose, we got instant counter, just the Petal Ward skill. Pretty sure I don't have to explain that anymore. Alright? What is immunity? Alright, immunity, well, as I've said before, I will literally just put it out like this and stop talking for a while so you guys can actually read and watch. Be sure to, you guys can ask me any questions that you have towards my scores here or about anything else, pretty much. I do like to answer questions that I can answer. If I have the answer for your questions, I will answer them the most unbiased way possible. If I don't know the answer to that, I will do my best to find the answer for you. And yeah, these are all only done. These scores are based only for arenas, in which we don't count field arena or like mass PvP. We only count ranked arena, normal arena, and friendly arena that has been reworked to be like the ranked arenas. Okay, I hope this is quite easy to understand. I will just move on with the slides. You can actually screenshot them if you want. You can read them and try to remember them. And pretty much, this will be the last thing that I'll be saying to you. Okay, that I'll be explaining for now. So, this is how it goes. Okay, so how do you look for the strengths and weaknesses of a class, and how do you beat a class using your own class? Okay, so every class got these scores, and each of those scores represents something. And what does that represent? A weakness and a strength of a particular class. If a class have high reach, that means there's not much point in you trying to outplay them with distance. The only way that you can beat the Primrose is to actually abuse its low range and its low super armor. When a class have very bad super armor, you tend to want to trade against it, because eventually it will lose the trade. That is just how this game works. Damage output is basically how much damage can you receive from this class, and how much damage can you actually neglect. Alright, so let's just say let's just put the Primrose as an example. If you get comboed by a Primrose and you're about the same CP, you will die with maybe 1 or 1.5 combo, depending on how good the crit rates are, and either if anything other stuff procs like the branches. Anything above 3.5 can potentially kill you in one combo. That is just how it is. If a damage output goes above 3.5, it can kill you in one combo, given that it has good crit luck and the branches actually proc. This means that you have to be very careful of classes that have a very high damage output. Alright? Mobility. If a class has very high mobility, that means you need to actually try to abuse that in a way that, okay, so this class can move a lot, this class is very fast, so how do I play against it? You can't play against it. What you guys must do is to think of a way on how you can abuse its weakness to your advantage. Like, put it this way, how is the Primrose worse than the Lotus? What part of the Primrose is worse than the Lotus? We will see. Okay, the Lotus have very good immunity. All right, there's a very good immunity, and it's basically its range is horrible. So if I was a Primrose player, and if I want to fight a Lotus, I will actually abuse the fact that this class has a very bad speed and mobility. So I will try to overwhelm them using my speed, so that they cannot react to me. And I don't want to. And as a Primrose player, I don't want to trade against a Lotus, because a Lotus has a very high immunity. So if I keep trading, I will lose. Okay. Now, secondly, let's talk about range and reliable reach. The Lotus has a very bad reach. It's a very bad range. So, as a Primrose player, what do I know? I know that as long as I maintain my distance, he can't catch me. Okay? There's no way in hell a Lotus can catch a Primrose, unless the Primrose fucked up, and you need to fuck up really bad for that to happen. Okay? Next is speed. Okay? How do we look at speed, and how do we abuse low speed? Speed equals how fast a class's skill go that enables people to react. The more speed that a person needs to react to your skills will reflect on how fast the class is. Okay? And sometimes there's a lot of things that we can debate on. For this instance, well, let's talk about grabs and stealth. Okay, let's compare between the Lotus and maybe the Kunoichi. Okay, all right. So I haven't changed this one. The Kunoichi's immunity is actually quite good. It's actually about 4. All right. Okay. Actually, it's not 4. It's actually 5. All right. I think this is the only one I haven't done. Okay, yeah. All right. The Kunoichi's immunity is high. So if a Kunoichi and a Lotus actually trades, eventually both will come to a standpoint, and it just comes down to whoever uses the super armor first and who actually maximizes the super armor. So whoever uses the super armor first will eventually lose the trade, or whoever actually messed up the super armor timing will eventually lose the trade. So you tend to not want to trade against Lotus with a Kunoichi, because there's really no point. Okay. Next is range. Okay, what is range? Now let's talk about the range of the Kunoichi and the range of the Lotus. All right. Let's look at this. Kunoichi has better range, right? And its reach is much more reliable. So I want to actually use that to my advantage. That means after a Lotus has used up its its skills and it's on cooldown, the kunoichi has a lot more range to actually go back in. Okay, and this actually allows the kunoichi to play around that. Secondly, if I'm a Lotus player, how do I fight against the kunoichi? All right, if you see here, what is the biggest difference between the Lotus and the kunoichi, and what makes them actually quite a counterpart? The Lotus has stealth, has 2 stealth, okay, and the kunoichi actually, give me a second, and the kunoichi has a grab. All right, now if a kunoichi has a grab, that means what? That means like this kunoichi is good at penetrating people's super armor. Now, what is the catch in this? The catch in this is the Lotus has 2 stealth, and so if I, as a kunoichi player, want to use grabs, I need to be very careful, because if I don't, the Lotus will fuck me up. All right. Okay, guys. That is pretty much how I want to talk about all of this. I will be actually, I will be just putting it up on the wall like this on every class that I have on this particular cycle. I will not be including some of the classes like Fletcher's, Archers, because they are too obvious, and I will not actually be talking about the Tamer class, the Titan class, and yeah, and the Reaper class, because frankly speaking, I've probably seen 3 Reapers in my entire BDM mobile arena matches. So yeah, I don't see any reason why I actually should do that. But if I have to, make sure to let me know. I will be happy to make one for you. Alright? Alright guys, that'll be it for today's video. I will be putting out the slides now. Okay?
Look around you, everything's black and white. How simple is that? Don't you know that it's about the way you look at this world? Go straight or the left, go back and right. Without a plan, you can't win, no. You gotta have a little mouth inside of your toe. Oh, try to live where you have been, nobody was there to tell.
Hello guys, I hope that this video actually gave you guys a lot of insight about many different classes in the game. And I have made sure not to make. I need to actually say a couple things before I end the video, and that is the fact that the total numbers, the total scores of each of these are not counted in purpose. Why? Because I always believe that every class got their own ups and downs, and I don't think it is fair to say that a class with more scores will do better. Not necessarily. All of this is back again to you. Alright? I've said this many times. There is no such thing as just an OP class, but they are OP players. Okay? No matter how good your class is, if you can't use it, well, you're not gonna do so well. So, without further ado, that'll be it for today's video. Thank you so much for watching, guys. I will really, I'll release most of the ranked arena content once I've reached Challenger. So please, wish me luck. I am doing this playing from behind. My CP with SOV is only 17,400. I am very weak compared to everyone else in my current rank. And I will die for 3 skills. And I need around 4 to 5 combos to kill them. So it's really hard to do right now, but I'm doing my best. All right. So yeah, please wish me luck, guys. Thank you so much.